Okay, so welcome to part 2 of the Aero Pro X review. If you haven't checked out the first video, I'll put the link in the description, but definitely go check out that video first. Okay guys, here we go. Giant hill test, same hill we always use on the PARSEC AERO Pro X version. Full battery, S Plus mode. It's a little wet up there from the rain this morning, but hopefully I don't crash. Let's do it. Saying 23 miles per hour right now. Full throttled, of course. Stuck at 23. Handling a hill perfectly fine. Let off the throttle. I probably could have kept throttling a little bit more, but oof, did very well on that hill. Let's check the rider app. Yeah, 23 miles per hour right on the nose. This might be the first remote that's the Hobbywing /JK /FOC that has an accurate speedometer. So 23 miles per hour up a giant hill for such a small setup, I'm not complaining at all. That's great. Well done, PARSEC. Okay guys, here we go. Acceleration test on the Aero Pro X model. Almost full battery, S Plus mode. All right, 1, 2, 3, go. Nice. Very good. I would say maybe a little less power than the Zealot X and about the same power as the Zealot S2. The one with the purple lights around it. So definitely good power, plenty for most of the community, and especially for such a small setup. Okay guys, top speed test on the Aero Pro X, stock 80mm wheels, S Plus mode. Let's do it. "24, 25, 25, 24, 25. Capped out. All right, let's check the rider app. 24.7 miles per hour, top speed on the stock Aero Pro X version. Keep in mind, these are 80mm wheels. If you want more top speed, you can go with bigger wheels and maybe even smaller pulleys. I don't think smaller setups like this should be going over 30 miles per hour anyway, so I think slapping on 105s, 100mm, 97 is definitely something to explore, but I don't think anything above 105mm should be on this board. That's just my opinion. Okay guys, brake test at 15 miles per hour. Brakes are set at 100. 1, 2, 3, go. Woo! Damn, those are some damn good brakes. As for the battery, the Aero Pro X is utilizing a 14S 2P 444 watt-hour Molicel P45B battery. These are claimed to be the top rated cells in the e-skate community, and if you want to go with the fast charger, you can charge your board from 20% to 80% in just under 60 minutes. As for range, I'm a 160-pound rider. The temperature was about 44 degrees Fahrenheit. I rode in mostly S Plus mode, but a little bit in S mode. So it definitely wasn't warm out, but it wasn't freezing. And I got a total of 22 miles utilizing the Aero Pro X version. Now, if you carve less than me, you're gonna get a little bit better range. If the climate is a little warmer, you're gonna get a little bit better range. If you kick push the board, you're definitely gonna get better range. Now, even though it's very easy to kick push this board, I just didn't do it that much during my range test. I did it a few times just to show on camera. It's easy to do, but again, if you decide to kick push the board, you will increase your range. Few things worth mentioning. The pulleys on the left, you can see the bearing holes are very large, and the pulley bearing holes to the right are much smaller. So the pulleys to the left with the much bigger hole are for more street boards such as this, the Zealots, the Meepo Voyager, and a few others. The pulleys on the right are for more like the Evolve, the Onboard Zeus, the Meepo Hurricane, and a few others. My point is, if you want to go with your bigger or smaller pulleys from your Evolve or your Zeus, it won't work on the PARSEC AERO Pro. Finding these type of pulleys are actually pretty tough, but usually boards like the Zealots and the Meepo Voyagers and the Tiny Ultras, They're actually 36T anyway, but I think 36T is a good middle ground for 80mm all the way up to 105mm. Now, the one thing I do not like about this board is the exposed wires in the middle of the base plates of both trucks. This is the front truck exposing the wires for the power button, I'm assuming. And then here is the rear truck that has silicone being exposed along with the wires. This keeps the water out, but it obviously does not look good. This board is way too premium and polished for these two eyesores. They definitely need to do some kind of 3D printing or some kind of plastic piece that goes over this and covers this up. Like I said, this board is way too good for this. Now, some people are afraid of getting white dirty. Sure, it's gonna show some dirt, but get a rag, get some all-purpose cleaner, spray the actual rag itself, and then wipe it down, and it looks good as new. Keep in mind, you're riding this thing a lot. It's gonna get dirty, it's gonna get a little bit beat up. Just take care of it and try not to worry too much. The unboxing was pleasant, nothing out of ordinary, nothing to complain about, but certainly nothing high-end here. Has a nice little basic box for your remote, your tools, and your charger. The 2.8 amp charger charged my board from 0 to 100 in just under 3 hours. I love how it comes with a Y tool instead of a T tool. I think Y tools give you so much better leverage, looks better, and PARSEC gives you all the tools to take apart the entire board if needed. Now, a few people have been asking, hey, do these 80mm wheels can handle small, light trails? The answer is yes. Yes, they can. Have some confidence in yourself, have some confidence in the board. It absolutely can handle light trails. Once you realize you can accomplish these things, you're gonna realize the true value in a good quality street board like this. Because once you realize you can actually adapt your riding skills and style to all kinds of different terrain, the wheel options are endless. Once you realize you actually like street wheels, there's so many cool options out there, so many different feelings underneath your feet, colors, durometers, shapes, sizes, diameters, formulas, and just having so much diversity and options of different feelings underneath your feet on a quality street board like this. I am so excited to try out all these new wheels, and I really want to hear what kind of wheel setup you prefer on your PARSEC. Honestly, no joke, I haven't even tried any other wheel setup on this board yet because I love the stock setup so much. Now, I wouldn't really go anything bigger than 105mm. That's just my opinion. There's so many amazing wheels out there that it's just not needed to go that big. Now, I know everybody's gonna ask about the Mad Max 125mm wheels. They fit on there. I think it makes the board look a little silly. That's just my opinion. I couldn't get wheel bite. I didn't ride it, but I put all my weight on the back and front corner and I did not get wheel bite. Again, I don't suggest it because when you're carving hard, especially at higher speeds, you can put more pressure on those corners and you might get wheel bite. Again, just standing on it, putting all my weight, I did not get wheel bite, but again, I do not suggest it. Now for the price. With our discount code, the S model comes to $13.49. With our discount code, the X model comes at $15.49. Do I think that's a bit overpriced? Yes, I do. I think their original launch price should be their normal pricing, but I do think they should be priced higher than any other street board on the market. Now, if you have decent to good credit, I highly suggest using PayPal credit. I use it all the time. PayPal credit gives you 0% for 6 months. I have used this probably about 30 times since 2020. On the top, you see Lunicycles for over $2,400, and on the bottom, e-wheels for over $3,600. The Lunicycle charge is from an e-moto, which is an electric dirt bike that I bought for $4,700. And as you can see with the date circled, that was January 19th, 2025. Since then, I paid some of the balance, but I've actually sold the bike, which means I didn't really like the bike that much. So I sold it and I used a person's money to pay off this small loan. And I have 6 months to pay the loan because there's 0 interest, meaning there's no actual risk. So I didn't even use any of my money to buy that bike. So whether you buy something that you don't like and you want to sell it, or something goes wrong and a bike, unicycle, or a board comes DOA, you still really don't have a risk because you have 6 months for PayPal to fight for you to get the money back. Honestly, it's a no-brainer for big purchases. Final thoughts. Now, first off, I think traditional longboarders that are getting a little bit older, some of their joints are aching, but they still love the sport. I think they would absolutely love this board. But as for the e-skate scene, nowadays, most electric skateboard companies are focused on specs and price. So they try to jam as much battery capacity, the biggest motors, the most power they could put at the lowest price. But they forget about the actual ride feeling of the board. Take Ace-Deck Nomad for example. We all love Ace-Deck, its performance, its range, its price point. Very well received, but you ride that thick board, the deck, the enclosure, it's so thick. You have much less control. Even when riding over a manhole cover, imperfections in the road, the thickness of that entire deck and enclosure plays kind of like this gap underneath my feet. So I feel less control. Now, some of you may think that helps with comfort, and I respect that, but comfort to me is control first. I can't be comfortable if I don't have 1000% control. I also like how PARSEC doesn't penny pinch. They're not afraid to have a high price because it's a high quality board. When you get a board with high specs but a low price, trust me, you feel that. I really feel like a lot of riders nowadays are overcompensating with these big spec boards instead of actually riding and practicing their skills. Most riders' average speed isn't even close to 30 miles per hour. Next time you're out cruising, if you're a fast rider, check your GPS, go for a half-hour cruise and check your GPS, see what your average speed is. Same goes for range. How often are you doing over 20 miles without stopping? Now, don't get me wrong, I think a lot of people ride over 20 miles, but not necessarily riding without stopping. The e-skate community needs a serious culture injection. We definitely need to put more culture. We need to go back to the basics, the fundamentals of longboarding, and just enjoy the ride and have fun. You do not need a big, heavy, bulky board to do any of this. I feel like most riders nowadays that would prefer a board on paper that goes 40 miles per hour and 50 miles range rather than learning how to ride switch. I don't know if anybody has noticed, but you see in this video, a lot of my riding is switch riding. Learn how to ride switch, learn how to 180 slide, learn how to cross step. All of this will make you a more elite rider. And then I promise you will find more joy in riding any other setup rather than a big, giant 45-pound board that does 50 miles per hour that you're never gonna do anyway. When you do 40, 45 miles per hour, you're doing it for a whopping 5 or 6 seconds. To me, clenching your butt in a straight line for 4 to 10 seconds isn't worth it. I think becoming a better rider is far more important. I like this board so much, I kind of feel like a proud father. Even though I had nothing to do with making this board, I just feel like the community needs this so bad. And I've been saying for such a long time, the community needs more street setups. And now that there's a very large YouTuber slash influencer of Daniel Kwan that's giving us a lot of influence, I feel like the community is finally listening. And it really makes me happy. And honestly, it makes me feel a little bit proud. So I highly suggest this board. The X model if you need over 20 miles, the S model if you don't need over 12 miles. Thanks for watching, guys. Please comment, like, share, subscribe. Have a good one, guys.